Roll for Crit here at Gen Con 2021, and there are a lot of games and companies here, but this video, we're going to be focusing on Funko games. You may remember in a previous Gen Con video of previous years that we visited and see their Funko miniature game using little Funko figures from Batman, Harry Potter, and other universes. That line has definitely spread, but we talk about some other games. There are plenty they've released over 2020, but they've got some really cool announcements coming down the pipeline that we just learned pretty much as soon as we arrived at Gen Con.
Yeah, Funko is going all in on the licenses right now, and they have some pretty cool ones. A couple big ones in particular they announced at the show. We'll start with The Warriors Come Out to Play. This is based on the 1979 movie. You play as the Warriors, and it's a co-op game. You're trying to make your way across New York City, battling other gangs that are trying to take you down, and you win by getting to the end. And it has some interesting mechanics in that you can move to different spaces and you can move up however you want to get to the spaces that might give you more weapons or other beneficial abilities. But if you leave people behind or you spread out too thin, it can make you weaker. You may get cornered when you run into some enemies. So you have to balance how far you're willing to go in order to power yourself up at the risk of maybe abandoning a friend and possibly losing the game. They said this is a pretty challenging game that you'll probably lose.
Yeah, it's sort of a deck building game, but when you buy cards and play them, you actually have to remove cards from your hand you haven't played in order to get them back. So you really have to weigh what do you keep, what do you use. The board is broken up into different parts of New York City, so if you accidentally start a fight in an area where other people are in a different one, well, it's all on you now. So this really is about team management, knowing like how far can you move forward, what do people need, can you risk that or not, and of course the other gangs are not going to make it easy for you.
Yeah, it seems like a really fun, unique application of the theme. If you're a fan of the Warriors, it really takes what happens in that movie and puts it in your hands. It's up to you to get them safely across the city, which is cool. Now, the other really big one that was announced at the show, that's, Warriors, we got to see a board, cards, the whole thing. This one, we're very much in the dark about. It's some sort of a Jurassic World Legacy game, and we were told that encompasses not just the new movies, but also the original Jurassic Park films. So it's going to have content from all over the place. A Legacy game, of course, if you don't know, is generally a campaign-based game in which things change permanently, stickers are added to the board, envelopes are opened, all kinds of things could happen. Like I said, we know very little about this, but I'm wondering, Will, as a big Jurassic Park fan, what you would want this game to be like, or what you think it might be like.
Well, what I'm excited about is because he said, what we do know, he says you start before Jurassic Park. So my idea is this is really going to be like a legacy game of like building up a park. So while we have had games before that do that with dinosaurs, the idea of knowing like what are the repercussions of like if this happened or this came out, like I think we will probably sidetrack a bit off what we know from the movies, which I am happy about. And also, I tend to think legacy games do better if they're designed from the ground up, not based on stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm sure other games do well, but just like King's Dilemma, the fact that yes, it's using the Jurassic Park theme, but that it's not has anything going with it is at least for me, it has me a bit excited.
Yeah, the game design itself is wholly original, and yeah, maybe it would be cool if, like you said, you're actually designing a park, so like by the time you get to the Jurassic World era, like you have rides placed. I wonder how they're going to do that. And like you said, with a Legacy game, it's going to have to stray a lot from the movie because anything could happen. It'd be cool if, like, what if in your version of the game, you have Ian Malcolm, but he dies or something. Sorry, no spoilers, but he lives in the movie.
We fire Newman early.
Right. Yeah. What's his name? Wayne Knight. He says, I forget his name. Dennis Nedry. I got you.
But like this is all speculation. The only thing we can confirm is one, that it does cover the entire Jurassic World universe, so that's Parks 2. 2, it starts before Park, so we're probably going to see a bit more about the creation of that. And that's a Legacy game. And 2022.
Right, yeah, summer 2022, I think they said. So very excited to find out more about that. They were also showing off their Goonies game and the Rocketeer game, which we will hopefully get the chance to play and possibly review for you guys later on. But I'm super excited about both of those licenses. They both sound really, really fun.
Yeah, Rocketeer is a two-player game. On one side takes the place of the heroes, the other the villain, and they're fighting over blueprints, and they actually have some fake ones, so it's going to be this cat and mouse game going back and forth of when person finds the real one, then they have the fake ones again, and then you all have to go back and forth and see who has the real blueprints. Looks really cool. And of course, the Goonies was actually, this once again, just like Jurassic Park, I really like because it's really delving into the universe a bit. Only like the first 3 are the movie itself. Everything after that is actually all the stuff they expected to see and all the crazy things there. So you're going to get a bit more like crazy fantasy stuff, and it sounds really cool. And you're not always going to win, but like someone actually plays a DM and knows like hidden rooms and stuff. And while that one is available, there will be an expansion coming later, which adds the teenagers and a couple other fun things as well.
Yes, so if you're a Goonies fan, they basically created a Goonies sequel in the form of this game. It sounds really fun, really creative. I'm curious to see in action how the DM versus the players mechanic works in the form of a Goonies game, but it looks very thematic. They've clearly got some people on the team who are big fans of these properties and are trying to do them justice. So I'm excited to see them all. I think Jurassic World is definitely going to be, that seems like their biggest, most ambitious game yet. So it's going to be really cool to see how it comes out.
Legacy games always are, and then unfortunately that is always the fear in my back of my head. But like I said, because it's not based on anything, that to me is actually a good sign.
Except for Jurassic Park.
Well, no, I mean like
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
The world itself, I mean, I definitely think there's plenty you can do with the Jurassic World. Whether I agree which movies do it well or not is a whole another video. But I do think, like I've seen Alien Legendary, they made up 2 scenarios, don't exist in movies, and I think they're fantastic. So I do think taking both Goonies, for example, and Jurassic Park into places the movies haven't shown is not a bad thing.
Yeah, we saw the same thing with the Big Trouble in Little China board game. It's fun when you get to add a little almost like fan fiction that maybe wouldn't make sense as much as a movie, but really is cool to explore in a game form.
I did just remember now, we'll probably already put it up on screen already, but we do also know that there's that really cool T-Rex miniature. So that also looks really cool and is already a good sign.
We also know that. So Funko has a ton of stuff coming out. If you're a fan of all these properties, you can let us know in the comments which one you're most excited for. Or maybe there's something, a property that you haven't seen anyone make a decent game of that you'd like them to tackle next. Talk to us, let us know what you think.
You've been watching Roll for Crit's coverage of Gen Con 2021. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you to all our patrons on Patreon for supporting us as well.
Yeah, we're going to have exclusive coverage of Gen Con at patreon.com/rollforcrit, or you can find us right here on YouTube at our podcast. All that stuff is at rollforcrit.com/GenCon. You don't want to miss it.